My name is Guru Fatha Singh, and I'm a teacher of Kundalini Yoga. I'm going to speak today about the fullness of life. And it's something I'm happy to speak about. It's a topic my teacher passed on, and not only passed on in words, but passed on in his presence, in his radiance, in his way of being. And it's a way of being engaged through the body, and in all one's relationships. It's definitely it's a type of environmentalism. I mean, look at this. My body is my environment. I have my Amazon rainforest right on my chinny chin chin. I eat to preserve life. I eat to be respectful. I eat a vegetarian diet. I breathe. You know, that's my source of energy. Primarily is my breath. I breathe deeply. That's part of what I do. It's part of my living in the fullness of life. My relationships are positive. I aspire towards the highest consciousness to keep my spirits up and to lift other people up as well. To live the fullest life and inspire and to help other people to live in the fullness of life as well. You could call it a feminist way of life. I mean, it's not anti-masculine by any means, but we acknowledge that life originates in womankind. The mother is our first teacher. And so we give a lot of respect to womankind in a culture which, by and large, doesn't so much. You know, we say, Adi Shakti. My teacher gave a mantra, Adi Shakti, Adi Shakti, Adi Shakti, Namo Namo. Now, Shakti means a power, and it happens to be a feminine verb, feminine word, a noun. And so we're acknowledging the original power, the inspirational power of womankind. And, you know, my teacher taught some really profound things. I mean, we were ahead of our time in the sense that we were hippies, yeah? But we did natural childbirth. We encouraged breastfeeding when most people had just lost that custom altogether. Not being mindful of even the science that promotes and supports those practices. But Yogi Bhajan also, he took us way back in history, and he told us that there's an old tradition at the 120th day of pregnancy, the arrival of a soul, the quickening, to celebrate the arrival of the new soul, which we did. When we had a new mom in our community, we'd all gather around and we'd sing beautiful songs. We'd give her gifts. We'd have her sit on a kind of a throne. We'd have her sit on a rocking chair. We'd sit on the floor. As yogis, we all sat on the floor anyway. And we celebrated the institution of life, the institution of motherhood, which prevails in the birthing of a new child. And we also, Yogi Bhajan gave us another directive. He said, you know, childbirth is a hard job. And it's a big event for both the child and for the mother. Give them some time off. And I did some research afterwards. This is quite common in many, many traditional cultures, not in our industrial cultures where mom pops the baby out and goes back to work within 2 weeks. But in traditional culture, mom gets about 40 days, sometimes 90 days, depending on the culture, just to be with the baby and not entertain guests and just to recover and to bond and for the child to get rooted in this new world. I was surprised the other day. I was at the university and there was a pro-life demonstration. You see those every once in a while, right? People have the banners and the placards with the ugly pictures of the unborn embryos and pro-life, pro-life, pro-life. I asked the guy, you know what the origins of the pro-life movement are? And he said, pro-life, it's been going on for thousands of years. It's not true. He didn't know that it only started in 1854 with Pope Pius IX. Pope Pius IX, he wanted to please a certain part of his congregation, and nothing wrong with that. They were people who had a lot of respect for Mary, the mother of Jesus. And so he created a holiday and enshrined in that the Immaculate Conception. So we have the Day of the Immaculate Conception. Kind of nice. We love Mary. Mary is a great spiritual figure. But he also associated, soon after that, he associated the idea of her Immaculate Conception and the arrival of Christ in her womb with every other woman's situation. And he said that from now on, we do not make a distinction between early and a late abortion. Up to that time, before the quickening, we recognize that there's nothing, the soul has not yet arrived. But after the quickening, then it becomes another matter. And this is quite universal understanding in many, many cultures. My teacher put it this way. He's a very thoughtful person. He said, God recognized people make mistakes. Sometimes you have an unwanted pregnancy. And God gave us about 3 months. And God gave the mother about 3 months to sort herself out. And if she's not physically, spiritually, emotionally, socially, financially prepared to bring a new human being into her life, that she is able to then to take a herb or take some procedure to abort that ungraceful situation. It's less graceful to bring someone into the world that you're not prepared to welcome into the world than it is to have an abortion, as traumatic as it is. And so my teacher said, but if you're willing and eager to bring a soul into the world, then celebrate that with the 120th day celebration. So that person I spoke with had no idea. He didn't know about Pope Pius. He didn't know that 12 years later, Pope Pius also created the doctrine of papal infallibility, which means he doesn't make any mistakes. And I think we can do better to be respectful of womankind, to respect a woman's right to control her own body, and to choose if and when she wants to enter into that grand institution of motherhood. It's a wonderful time we live in. I'm very grateful to practice Kundalini Yoga. I do feel that it's a life force. It's an enhancing of the life force in me, and recognizing the life force and the dignity of that force in everybody, and including the other animals in our environment. And so I'm very grateful, and feel very happy to be sharing this methodology and some of the thoughts and the history behind it. And I wish you all the very best in your life. Sat Nam.